Dire's middle tower is under attack.
3 bounty runes already going to the way of Signal Ultra. Gabby does manage to find one for the team. You can see not really prioritizing those bounty runes at the moment. Would rather just continue sticking in the lane, as they are pretty much winning every single lane. You can make the argument that the mid lane is still an even trade between Armel and Jamesy, but Armel has found himself slightly ahead.
We're reaching that point as well where the TA can just slip into that jungle and farm up a bit more. Armel does have a 1-level lead over Jamesy, and it's that point where Timbersaw can knock through the refractions with Chakram now, but we're not seeing the silly Timbersaw come out just yet.
It does take a bit more time than that for the silly Timbersaw.
Is under attack.
Still, he's just prioritizing farm for now. He's got the Soul Ring up. He wants to disrupt Armel in the jungle and does manage to steal a creep away from the TA. Just return straight back into the lane. Still, Armel's net worth not really suffering too much. He is almost at 3.2k, well ahead of anybody else. He's just juggling between that jungle and, of course, the lane. Look up at that top lane. Nando on the Void has really been struggling. 2k net worth, nothing to write home about. KP has been making his life very, very hard.
This is going to be very hard for Signal to recover from. Oh, and aggro lands in him as well. It's going to be hard to recover from this one. The Void farms okay. It's not the fastest in the world as a flash farmer. You can still make it work, but you really want either a Maelstrom or a Midas to accelerate that farm for you and also enable you to make use of that early chrono. Without any of those coming out, heck, without even a power treads up on Nando, his level 6 is really not going to be as impactful as you'd hope.
Top lane, they are going to try and gank KP now. He already took that T1 tower. Concussive shot does come out. They should be able to get the Echo Stomp off, though no, they don't really try. But surprisingly enough, they actually leave KP alone.
You know, Mike, I want to point something out as well, just really quick. Check the win probability. It's now, it's just a die. I think it's busted for the die right now for us, for some reason.
All right, this one I don't know about. The 100% Signal Ultra.
Radiant's middle tower is under
We'll
attack.
see if Gabe is correct this time, Johnny. He was correct last time. It's, I'd be impressed if he was. Armel, double damage rune on the TA now. Has a nice little trusty shovel for himself.
Yeah, I like this item build-up from Gabby as well. He is going for the armlet, so he wants to be active early on. This is exactly what you want to see, especially when you're playing with that TA who will require some farm time. I mean, even the progression towards that link is going to be pretty fast. He's just about 700 gold away. But you'd still want the Desolator on top of that anyway, and that just means you are going to have to buy some time there.
Well, Gabby's been farming pretty well. Like, they haven't put any pressure on this man. It's unlike the last time we saw a CK where there was a lot of pressure. Gabby just free farming right now. Van hasn't been able to do anything on the Abaddon to stop him. And Van's farm has struggled a hell of a lot. 2.7k net worth. Just behind his own Void at 2.8. TNC has complete control over this game so far.
Radiant's middle tower
Jamesy at least finds a courier off March, I guess. Don't think March will mind too much.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Van. Ganked up here, but Nando is there with Jamesy. They have the chrono available. They want to kill off the CK.
Oh no.
But that chrono is not the one they needed, and March won't mind dying for that.
Stokes the furnace.
Oh my, that's a big mistake. Nando will stick around though. We'll steal some creeps off Gabby, but
Dire's structures are fortified.
he's not going to be happy about that one.
Oh, definitely not. You can see he was going for the greedy play, trying to catch both. Just kind of misses out on it. And unfortunately enough, that does mean that the spell isn't as successful as you'd want. They do get that support kill. It's still not ideal. We always talk about that timing around the first chrono. And you do, you know, just getting a kill is kind of good, but it doesn't feel like it's enough.
Looks like Gabby's starting to get active across the map. Grim's going to be the target. He does go down to Armel, and now Jamesy trying to punish back. They'll get the tier 1 as well. Looks like Jamesy may lose his life here. He's really not as tanky as you would hope. 24 active Rihanna stacks. It will be enough, or maybe not Armel. No, can't quite take him out. They will back off. I mean, they've got the tier 1. They got a kill. Now Gabby rotates to the bot lane where they get the Doom off on the Void, and March actually escapes with his life intact. They won't find the Void though.
Oh, the arrow?
Tim's trying to sneak one while they weren't watching. Won't find it. Good attempt though. So a 4-1 though. 4k net worth lead for TNC 11 minutes in. Pretty damn good lead. And these towers, they're still melting. I mean, KP's still forcing in this top lane. Van's been forced to try and defend that. The bot lane's now being pushed in by Gabby. And this is just buying more space for Armel, who already has the blink up, and who have the Desolator up pretty darn soon.
TNC is really hitting all their timing here. Every single thing that should be happening is happening. In fact, it's going really fast. The fact that that tier 2 up top isn't very safe. The fact that the Timbersaw can't just go between that tier 2 and tier 3 to find that farm, or you're just not getting the maximum potential from that Timbersaw. What you tend to see is, at this point in time, you're big enough, you maybe have a pipe, or you know, you maybe have a Vanguard or Hood of Defiance, and then you just play between tier 2, tier 3, annoy the hell out of someone by shoving in the lane that way. It's not happening just yet. They're forced to respond to TNC's movements.
I saw that coming
Bot.
from
Nice stomp out onto 2. Do they follow up with it though? No, they definitely do not. Nando does have the chrono available. He wants to try and go for another hero pick on. They'll just force down that bot tier 1. I don't believe TNC will even try to defend this. There's really no need to.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Just
attack.
let it go down. Nando will eventually take it for himself. While that's happening though, TNC will find something even better in the Roshan. And with Armel there, with the melt strikes, and with KP with all his creeps, it is a very, very quick process.
Not only that, but Armel had a very fortunate double damage rune, so they do take that Roche uncontested, widening their net worth gap to 6k in favor of TNC, 4-1, 13 minutes in. Van, I don't think you want to be there.
No, certainly not. He does have borrowed time. KP does have Raw if he really wants to commit, and he will, but there are TPs coming in. Eris trying to help out. Armel is not afraid though, and he will go in and clean him up, and now Eris could be in trouble. Armel, not really much mana to play with. He does have the Aegis, so does have a secondary life if he wants to push the limits. They will not, however. They'll be happy with that. And I can't blame them. There's no need to overextend. They're just finding everything they need. And if this game keeps up the way it is, Signal Ultra could be losing very, very quickly.
It's really down to the fact that Signal has not been able to maximize their combo. We haven't seen a big chrono with the Earth Splitter, with the Mystic Flare really coming out just yet. Signal, they need to make it happen. That's what their draft is all about. It's just not happening.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Farm
attack.
suffering all over the place for Signal. Like Nando's still trying to get that Maelstrom up. You have it relatively soon. Suppose you could make something happen, but you could look at Armel. Deso up now. BOT's come up on KP, so he has high mobility. Of course, Gabby has the armlet, and he's going for what looks like an Echo Saber up next. Bot lane, they are going to engage onto Jamesy, who is melting to Armel. They will Aquatic Shield him up. Doom will be there on the abandoned now. Chrono It is pretty darn nice with the Mystic Flare. They'll take down KP on the Beastmaster. They try for March. They've lost Grims though. Now it looks like they may want to back out. Full Signal Ultra though. Jamesy is taking a lot of damage off that CK. And not really being too phased by it either.
The prize is mine.
And so although it kind of looked good for TNC, they do end up losing out 2-1. And you're starting to see Jamesy on that Timber, just a little bit too tanky for Gabby to try and take out.
It certainly is. I think that's going to be an issue for the next at least 5 to 10 minutes, specifically on Jamesy. That's really just the moment when Timbersaw is nigh unkillable. Once that Guardian Greaves is up as well, it's just going to be obnoxious, right? So Jamesy should be able to get a little bit more done.
Eris is down. Mel does find the kill, but it may cost him the Aegis. He will refract up. He's surrounded though by quite a few heroes, but TNC is coming in to try and help out. There's the Aegis going. Stock is not going to be there in time. The Raw KP will push him away, but Armel still coming too much damage. But no, the Glimmer Cape will save him though. No, Nando, he does find it in the end. Now Tim's just trying to get the hell out of there. And Armel got a little bit greedy, but March, he will find a trade in the form of Grims. Can they punish further? Signal still trying to run away. March, who are you aiming for? He's going after Nando, and here comes Gabby on the CK. Still though, it's a 1-for-1 trade once again, but they do find the Void. And for some reason, they decided to drop a mango tree in the middle of all that. Does get chopped down by KP immediately. The man hates mangoes.
Well, in the end, it is still a slightly more favorable trade for Signal. Just taking out that TA is still a pretty big win for Signal, just because TA is worth a lot more. So Signal gonna be pretty happy about that. That does let our Void finish up that Maelstrom as well. Gonna be doing a bit more damage. Overall, speed up the farm. And Signal, you know, they're the guys now with the draft that plays around that timer. Void ultimate gonna be up in about 15 seconds. They need to make something happen that time span. They need to find a big kill, find a big pickoff, and just keep doing that every single time. I think if Signal can keep that up, this deficit of 6k is not gonna matter too much in a few minutes time.
No, looking for more already. He just respawned up. He wants some heroes to take out. He won't get lucky enough to find anybody quite yet. Nando on the low ground has Chrono up.
Dire's bottom tower has been denied.
We'll see the Echo Saber now up on Gabby's CK, so a lot more damage output on him. You really see the urgency in TNC this game. They just aren't willing to wait. They want to keep forcing fights and making it very hard for Signal Ultra. Gabby forcing the creep wave towards that tier 3 tower. Jamesy will be there to defend on the Timbersaw. Signal just sticking as a team, not splitting up, not giving any kind of leeway to TNC to try and get a pick off. TNC do still hold the net worth lead at 6k. Mel at 10k net worth right now on the TA. Trying to go into that BKB. And you'd imagine once the BKB's up on TNC, they may actually just start forcing the tier 3 towers.
Definitely nothing holding them back from getting that done. So just waiting out on that one big item. Of course, you have to respect Signal. They still have that team fight up. They do have the Chronosphere up, every single spell up, and they are just clumped up as 5. They understand that they don't have the map control to take these fights to TNC, but if they can somehow bait TNC in, their counter fight is going to be really good.
Well, 20-minute
Dire's
about to hit. Of course, both teams going to start fighting over outposts. Nice arrow from Tims. But they will still get the outpost. But look at TNC immediately trying to force in that T2 tower. Sometimes it's a trade you have to make. Do you want the outpost? Do you want your tower to remain? Luckily for Signal, TNC does not have any creeps in the mid lane to really try and force that tower down. So they will be forced to just push in that top creep wave once again and just maintain the dire control rather than control over the dire jungle.
Almighty money. Regeneration.
For the hunt.
Signal, gonna smoke up. Again, Chrono is up, they're ready to fight now. Be massive if they could find a big pickoff like Armel. Though he does have his BKB up now, so he may be willing to fight as long as that Chrono is not available. It is though.
Dire's top tower
Be making their way towards Armel. He does run the opposite way now, so it looks like they will completely avoid any kind of engagement.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Now TNC once again in that dire side jungle.
Shadows take
Could be dangerous for them, but they pop the Moonlight Shadow and it looks like they want to try and force a fight. Nando. Darcy's could be there. Armel does get caught out and they caught March as well, but the arrow connects from Tim's. Still they do get the TA kill. That's a massive deal for the side of Signal Ultra as they try to chase KP. So they will lose out on that, but they find something even better in the form of Gabby. That CK just didn't seem to do anything. All illusions were just missing.
Radiant's top tower
And Signal win a massive team fight. They got both the position 1 and 2 of TNC.
That's some really good game sense coming out from Signal. Just having the dust on hand, popping it right then, allowed them to figure out they were being rotated on. And they just land a really good chrono. It looked a bit wonky when the arrow hit, but everyone else was still outside to follow the damage. Immediately take out Armel, who is the main damage right now. And once he was gone, it was just very easy for Signal to clean up. So that's exactly what they need to do and what they need to keep doing. Just try to find those kinds of fights. Eventually you will turn the tide to yourselves. You've also got a lot of key items flying out now on a few cores. The Mjolnir was up for Nando in that last fight, and now they have Jamesy with their Guardian Greaves, so he's going to be much harder to kill off. The entire team is just going to be that much tankier, and that's going to make it much harder for TNC to try to burst these heroes down.
It certainly is. Still, Armel definitely wants to take advantage of that 10-second BKB charge he has while the Chrono is not available. He's got about a minute to make use of that. Could be in the Roshan pit though, which is respawning in about 10 seconds, and TNC are already ready for it. And I wonder if Signal Ultra will try to contest without that Void ultimate. Definitely doesn't seem like the wise decision, but you don't want to give that Aegis away for free. Well, they'll get started.
Just what are you hiding?
Signal don't really have vision around the Roche pit either, so they may not be aware this is happening. They do scan it out. It may be way too late though, and yeah, it definitely is. Roshan is already gone. The Aegis will go the way of Armel, and the Cheese will go the way of Gabby. And I suppose on the bright side, they will have the Chrono up if they do try to force a tier 2 tower. But they'll smoke first, TNC. Nando does get spotted by Gabby.
Vanish.
Moonlight Shadow now to be popped. Nando seems to understand they're around him somewhere, and he does go back in towards his base. So nothing will come out of the smoke or the Moonlight Shadow.
Radiant's bottom tower.
See, again, gonna have to wait for the right opportunity. Because Gabby will try to force in that bot tier 2. but there could be an engagement up top. They will be fighting over that outpost at that 25-minute mark. Signal going to try and take it now, and they do grab it, but Armel jumps straight in after Eris. He doesn't find the kill quite yet, and he did use that BKB very early on. They do get it in the end. Now the Doom on the timber, not allowing him to do anything throughout this team fight. Where is the Void? Not around at the moment. He's still running in. He has the Chrono. Will he use it though? Raw comes out again on the timber, but there is the Chrono. He found 3 of them. It doesn't seem like it's going to be good enough. There's no damage output. The Mystic Clear comes down. They'll find at least the Aegis. Earth's going to doing a lot of damage, but still Signal trying to go after Gabby on that CK. They just don't have the damage. They'll go after March instead on the Doom. It's a much easier target. And who's next? KP, the closest target to them. Do they have the lockdown? James will get in there with the Chakra. PNC still trying to just outrun them. They could try and turn. It doesn't look like they're interested. Melt strike to Nando, and that's going to be it. That fight, it was a 2-for-1 trade. It was a buyback on Eris and a dieback for that matter on Eris, but it still seems to go Signal Ultra's way.
I'm sure they don't mind too much. They managed to take out that Aegis. They managed to force out a couple of spell usages from TNC as well. Sure, you expend the Chronosphere there, but you've got a bit of a time where TNC, they don't have the Doom, they don't have the Phantasm. They are a bit vulnerable as well, so you can try to force something out, particularly once Eris is up. He's going to be a bit of your magic damage coming in these fights, and once that's settled, you could probably at least find a pick-off if you really wanted to.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Quickening charms popping out. Cooldown's going to be lower. Looks like again Armel going into the dire side jungle, being very aggressive with his positioning. He's getting very close to a butterfly now. You see Nando with that Lincoln Sphere, trying to protect himself from that roar, or the Doom for that matter. He'll be going for a butterfly up next as well.
Is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Just gonna cop an arrow. Won't really matter though, there's no follow-up to it. Signal Ultra should be able to get this tier 2 tower very, very easily.
Dire's top tower.
By the time they're done, they'll have the Chrono back up, so
Radiant's bottom tower is under
they could
attack.
try and force another
Radiant's
smoke,
bottom tower has fallen.
or just defend their top tier 3 tower, which was being pushed in by KP once again. TNC, I mean, they've still got a 9k net worth lead, but I'm not sure how concerned they should be. Gabby, as a CK, it does tend to drop off throughout those later stages of the game, whereas the Void just doesn't.
It's gonna be a bit rough. Like, he is rushing that heart, and we have seen CKs go for that heart, somehow still end up having minimal impact. Right now, Gabby's damage is still pretty darn good. And he is still managing to at least burst down his squishier heroes. He isn't doing so well up against Jamesy anymore, and even Nando, if you don't stun lock him, he's basically just... he has enough time between time walks to still fight. So you really got to watch out. There is a slight timer here for TNC. On that CK at very least, Arnell should be able to maintain relevancy into the late game. So he's going to be the bulk of the damage as this game goes on.
We do have another pause, this time from Signal Ultra.
Pocket
a bit
loss.
of packet loss.
No,
Pocket loss.
Mike. He's losing his pocket.
That's not good.
Yeah. James will suck. That is pocket in Tagalog. So, just making fun.
Signal Ultra still behind. We'll have a look at that win probability, and it is still apparently 100% their way. So Signal Ultra have there's nothing to worry about for Signal Ultra. They've got this game in the bag.
Yeah, Gabe has declared it so. TNC will have to play in the minors, and that's it.
Absolutely.
Oh, there you go. They're resetting your internet, or or it's PLDT.
Now.
No, they've been pretty terrible. Like my line has been consistently cutting. I believe I have been dropping packets as well. Like, I haven't been able to listen in too well, which is fine. I mean, there's a typhoon happening. I can't completely blame them. So, you know, the lines are going to be torn up, which is okay. In this one case, I can be understanding, Mike.
Very good, John. Good to hear it.
Just for now. Not tomorrow.
Absolutely not. Hopefully, Signal Ultra, or rather Nando, has found his pockets. Definitely important to have those pockets available during these games. Jamesy. Last one to reconnect.
You know, I would love to be a fly in the wall here and just hear what both teams are going through. It must be tense. Yeah, like, it's tense. You've got that. You've got, you know, national pride is a bit on the line. I mean, at the very least, everyone... Wow, it must be really bad if everyone's disconnecting that much.
Well, it's a typhoon, John. I imagine typhoon bad.
Yeah, it tends to be. Tends to be. I've never experienced them because in my part of the country, in my part of the Philippines, we actually don't get typhoons passing through.
Well, aren't you privileged?
Yeah, it's kind of... Yeah, I mean, it's nice to not have that. We do have earthquakes, though, much more often, which they're not like earthquakes that do wreck buildings. So, although the past two ones have wrecked a couple of buildings in different cities, my city's not quite in this. You know, it's not the what do you call it? Center point? No, what do you call that term, Mike? Do you have any idea what I'm talking about? No.
No idea.
Of course
John.
not.
No idea.
Of course not. How could I expect you to know?
Well, I'd have to be listening to know.
That's fair enough.
Just joking. This is a bit of an unfortunate pause, John. Third game, final game, and Signal Ultra. I mean, this is not the way you want to have your last game of the qualifiers going, especially considering this is the game that decides whether to go to the major or not.
Yeah, it's just pivotal.
Neither team really wants to lose like the momentum that they were having in that game, and the more time you spend not playing, the more time you kind of lose that groove that you're in. And that's more unfortunate for TNC, I would argue, who are currently ahead by 10k net worth.
It's gonna be really interesting to consider how well how well these teams will play. Like, you have to factor in that the Southeast Asian games are happening and in like a few days. So I'm trying to recall, like, for Dota 2, I want to say it's Signal Ultra playing, but I'm gonna have to double check. If it's Signal, I think that's actually gonna coincide with... Oh no, it's a droid. Okay, but they've got Eris and Van as subs. Wait, if it's a droid, are they still in for... Yeah, are they actually in? Or am I not seeing this right? A droid... No, okay. Because if any of them had, like, matches for the minor qualifiers, which are, I believe, in 2 days, that would be a scheduling conflict. So I'm not sure which takes precedence in that case.
I'd imagine the major would, right?
You would think, but I'm not sure how much leeway you can push against your government committees and pull out of an inter-regional game. Like, that is like on a different level. It's like outside of the DPC, yeah, the prize pool is probably not amazing as well, but this is very much an issue of actual national pride. So, unfortunately enough, that's not going to be an issue as far as I can see for most of these national teams. Like, no. It would have been an issue if... Oh, actually... No, okay. That's Barrack X.
You know what, maybe just confirm before you go any further.
I'm looking. It would have been an issue if Fnatic had to play minor qualifiers, mainly because Jabs and Savage are playing for Thailand, which actually sounds really scary. That's pretty stacked, I have to say. Like, for the SEA Games, Thailand, that's one to watch out for. And I guess Indonesia, like Barrack X, you can't really count out. Like they haven't had the best run so far, but they've got Jokam, and I think that's a guy I can always cheer for. You've got Nuts over in Singapore as well, and Paulson, although they don't have the big names from Singapore playing this time around. And for the Philippines, it's basically a droid, which again they have a bit of an edge playing these qualifiers, but still, that's going to be interesting. Like how much the meta is going to be influenced by this. They are playing on a new patch as well. It kind of reminds me of the ESL IP, Mike. If you remember casting those, like a lot of these teams are from there. Like the Myanmar group is pretty much what, Reckoning, if I recall right. Kind of miscasting those games.
Yeah, they were pretty fun. We should be having them soon again anyway. Too big of a deal.
It's been pretty busy. I believe India has DreamHack coming up fairly soon. Unfortunately, no Dota 2 there, but it seems like a pretty happy event. So, good on them. Looks like it's going to be a pretty fun time there.
No word from Signal Ultra. Of course, they can't really talk considering all of them disconnected, but it doesn't look good. That is a very long disconnect.
The lines could be down. Maybe they're switching to a different carrier. Maybe they're trying to pop on a wireless modem, which is really not ideal. They're probably exploring their options here. It's going to be rough. It's surprising that TNC isn't facing that same issue from wherever their team house is. But, you know, that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing for TNC. That's a good thing.
Well, I suppose even if they did, though, TNC would probably have a lot of backups, considering it's a major organization, whereas Signal Ultra is a little bit smaller.
They are, like, on an international scale, for sure. I think Signal in particular has really been making strides in trying to establish themselves as a premier esports organization in the Philippines. I think they're pretty damn close to it. Like, I believe they were the champions of the Nationals, you know, that Philippine League, all Philippine League, so they did come out on top there in Season 1.
Right.
And that was a pretty good showing. They have been kind of sticking with the same exact lineup as well. So these guys have played together for a very long time. And hopefully enough their internet comes back. This is one of the longer pauses we've been stuck in. I'm surprised you're not talking about your life right now, Mike.
There's not much to talk about, John. It's all a disaster. I have to depress myself at this time of the night.
You know, it's funny to think about. I mean, it's not funny. It's kind of sad, but it's a strange coincidence. My country is going to be flooding up, and Australia has the bushfires.
It's not good. It's
definitely not.
The whole world is basically having quite a few natural disasters. It's really pretty bad.
You have learned nothing.
What else is there? Like, I'm kind of unaware. I know those two.
I'd rather not talk about natural disasters. It's a bit depressing.
Miles away.
Don't you think?
It is. But what can you do? The world is... It happens, right? It's just...
It does happen.
It's just a way of things.
Upsetting.
Like this kind of disconnect. I'm wondering whether or not the admin actually steps in at some point.
Well,
there must be pause time.
Signal Ultra's clearly having technical difficulties. Like... Props to the admin for giving them time, and props to TNC for not complaining about it. Obviously, TNC understands the situation.
Yeah, I think you'd look pretty... It would be pretty rough to have to rulebook here.
Oh, here we go. Tim's hi. They're gonna start talking to each other. Poor March. Sports never get appreciated, John. Never.
Oh, definitely. I mean, this is a pretty good showing for March. You know, you compare that to his first Support Doom game. That went pretty atrocious. This one's pretty good. He is working towards an Ags, and he's having a lovely little time in the jungle, just kind of walking around. He's got a blink. Honestly, actually, he only has a blink and a whole bunch of jungle items and his boots. So, he's having much better impact with just those items than I'd expect.
Well, now we're rolling. 32 is the number for March. Good number.
Gotta roll higher. it's okay. From 0 to 100, that's like lower than average, lower than the middle. So
March asked them to roll back. Tim's, do you have the balls to roll, sir?
why don't you roll, Mike?
I'd rather not. It's a professional game job. I better stay out of it.
I saw them ending from miles.
And Armel does not roll. Tim's does not roll either. No rolls going on. Nobody having fun.
No one wants to be friends with March.
Poor
That's
March.
a bit mean.
We
That is a bit
appreciate
mean.
you, March. Don't you worry.
He's a great guy. You know, I wonder. You're gonna find this funny. I wonder if they've had dinner. It's 10:22 p.m. at GMT +8, UTC +8. Have they all had dinner? Has everyone had dinner? I hope they have.
That seems to be your concern every time we get this late. Have you had dinner, John? Is that why you're...
Oh yes, yes. I've had a week-old pizza. Probably a week and a half old pizza. Very satisfying.
What kind of pizza, John?
It's hard to describe. I'm guessing it's something called a Manhattan slice from Yellow Cab, which if you're from the Philippines, you probably know. And you can probably flame me for my pizza choice. But all I can describe it is it tasted right on the edge of not being good, but it was still edible. So I'm very okay.
Well, March is asking a serious question. It
here
has
we go.
been quite a wait now.
Yeah, I mean, the rule book has to come out at some point. You can't just
already a
indefinitely. No, it's definitely rule booking. Like there is a set amount of time you can pause for every team.
No, naturally,
That's
but
just-
I think March isn't really throwing the book at them. I think he's just kind of saying, hey, what do we do here?
I mean, it's either you wait or you ask for the rules to be enforced.